It's 3 in the afternoon. You're reading the same sentence for the fourth time, and the words keep sliding off your brain like water off glass. That's brain fog. And here's the strange part, because for a group of people studied at a gastroenterology clinic, the thing causing their fog was something they were doing to be healthier. 30 patients walked in with the same complaint: foggy thinking, bloating, gas, and every single one of them was taking a daily probiotic. We'll come back to what the researchers found, because it quietly flips a lot of wellness advice on its head. But the thing almost nobody tells you about brain fog is that it isn't really one condition at all. It's a warning light. The same light on your dashboard can switch on for half a dozen different reasons under the hood, and nearly all of them are fixable once you know which one is yours. Before we go further, the disclaimer. I'm not a doctor, and this is education, not medical advice. If your fog is sudden, severe, or shows up alongside other symptoms, get it checked by a professional. So let's start with the cause hiding in plain sight. Sleep. You saw that coming. So here's the part you probably didn't, because when you lose a night of sleep, the first thing to break isn't your memory. A 2024 review that pooled 44 studies found that even one short night reliably wrecks your sustained attention, the ability to hold focus on one boring thing, while leaving some other abilities surprisingly intact. That's why fog feels like you're focus slipping rather than like forgetting. And there's a physical reason underneath it, because while you sleep, your brain runs a kind of overnight rinse cycle, clearing out metabolic waste that builds up across the day. Skip the deep stages, and the bins don't get emptied, so you wake up trying to think through yesterday's garbage. One bad night does that. Now stack 100 of them. Which brings us to the second culprit, and it's the one with the best alibi. Your lunch. Picture the afternoon crash. You ate around noon, and by 2 or 3, you're useless, and you blame the time of day, when the real suspect is the shape of your blood sugar. Eat a big hit of fast carbs on an empty stomach, white bread, a sugary coffee, and your glucose spikes, then overcorrects and dips below where it started. Your brain runs almost entirely on glucose, so when the supply lurches, your focus lurches with it. In one study, older adults given a breakfast that released glucose slowly held their attention measurably better through that exact 2 to 3 hour window than the ones fed fast white bread, and the difference came down to how quickly that meal released its sugar. So the fix isn't eating less. It's flattening the spike, pairing your carbs with protein, fat, and fiber so the fuel line stays steady instead of crashing. Water. The third cause is almost embarrassing, because the fix is free and most of us ignore it anyway. Lose about 2% of your body weight in fluid, which is easier than it sounds on a busy day when you forget to drink, and a meta-analysis of 33 studies found your attention and coordination take a measurable hit. 2%. That's all it takes. So before you reach for a supplement, drink a glass of water and wait 20 minutes, because sometimes the fog is just thirst wearing a costume. Now, back to those 30 patients and their probiotics, because this is where brain fog gets genuinely strange. There's a constant conversation running between your gut and your brain, along the vagus nerve and through chemicals your gut bacteria produce. A landmark 2019 review in Physiological Reviews laid out just how chatty that line is, describing how your microbes help make neurotransmitters and short-chain fatty acids that your brain and body draw on. So when the gut community goes sideways, it's plausible the brain hears about it. And in those foggy patients, the researchers found something concrete. Most of them had bacteria overgrowing in the wrong place, the small intestine, where bacteria aren't meant to gather in big numbers. And those misplaced bacteria were fermenting sugars into a compound called D-lactic acid, which can build up and cloud thinking. Most of the foggy patients had that overgrowth. When the team stopped the probiotics and cleared it, the fog lifted in most of them. One caveat, and it matters, because this was a small study of 30 people without a control group, so it's a strong lead rather than the last word. It doesn't mean probiotics are bad. For most people, they're fine. It means brain fog can have a real, measurable, physical cause sitting in your gut, and that the obvious healthy habit isn't automatically the right one for your particular body. If this is the kind of thing you find fascinating, this whole channel runs on it. The boring biology behind everyday problems, explained properly. Subscribing helps me keep making them. Because here's the thread that ties all of this together. Bad sleep, blood sugar chaos, a disrupted gut, even extra belly fat, they all push up the same thing: low-grade inflammation. Your immune system releases messenger molecules called cytokines, with names like interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis factor alpha, and those messengers can signal the brain. Scientists even have a name for what they produce: sickness behavior. It's that foggy, flat, slowed down feeling you get with the flu, turned down low to a hum that never fully switches off. In one striking experiment, healthy volunteers were given a tiny dose of bacterial toxin to trigger mild inflammation, and inflammatory markers rose in their blood while their mood and mental sharpness measurably dropped. So the fog wasn't in their head in the dismissive sense. It was in their head in the literal, chemical sense, the brain doing exactly what it evolved to do when the body is inflamed: pull energy back, tell you to rest. There's one more cause worth naming, because it's among the most fixable of all, and a simple blood test can catch it: nutrient gaps. Low vitamin B12 can directly impair your thinking, and plenty of people run low without knowing, especially anyone over 50, anyone on certain stomach acid medications, and anyone eating little or no animal food. Low iron does something similar, draining focus and energy even before it tips into full anemia. And here's the honest part, because these deficiencies are real and worth ruling out, but they aren't everyone's answer. One study of over 700 older adults found no neat link between B12 levels and cognitive scores, even though a third of them were low. So get tested rather than guessing, and fix what's actually broken instead of whatever a supplement ad told you to fear. So what actually clears the fog? The most reliable lever is unglamorous. It's movement. Because when you do aerobic exercise, you push more blood and more oxygen to the brain, and over weeks you raise a protein that helps brain cells grow and connect. Pooled trials in healthy middle-aged and older adults show regular aerobic exercise measurably improving working memory and mental flexibility, and the dose that worked was ordinary: around 20 to 45 minutes, most days, for a few months. Not punishing, just consistent. Stack that with the rest and you've got the real protocol. Protect your deep sleep. Steady your blood sugar with balanced meals. Drink water before you caffeinate. Feed your gut real fiber and fermented food instead of chasing pills. Move your body. And get your bloods checked so you fix the gap that's genuinely yours. And one fear worth setting down: for most people, everyday brain fog is not early dementia. Dementia is a specific, progressive disease, while everyday fog is a symptom, usually of something reversible sitting right there on this list. They can feel similar for a moment, which is exactly why a real fear gets attached to a mostly harmless signal. If your symptoms keep progressing or come with other neurological changes, see a doctor. But foggy after a rough night and a sugary lunch is a different thing entirely. So here's where this lands. Brain fog isn't a verdict on your brain. It's a status report from your body. It's information, your brain easing off because something underneath needs attention. Sleep, fuel, water, a calmer gut, a missing nutrient, less inflammation. Find the lever that's yours, pull it, and the fog usually lifts. Every study I mentioned is linked in the description with its reference number, so you can check the research for yourself, because I'd rather you verify than take my word for it. And if you want the full deep dive on the gut-brain connection, that's the next video.